This is my new gaming setup. And this is my final review of Monster in My Pocket for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Before we get to the game itself, I want to talk to you a little bit about where Monster in My Pocket came from. Monster in My Pocket was created by two Mattel executives, Joe Morris and John Weems. These two people basically got together, thought up this concept of the addictive toys, which is what Mattel is known for, and they produced a line of 48 different monsters that are about this big that fit in your pocket. Now, they weren't very interesting per se, and they didn't stand out among other toys, which is why you might not remember them today. They're basically just little rubber, or soft plastic rather, figurines that were about the size of the little army men, like toy soldiers. Like numerous popular toys in the 90s, Monster in My Pocket went on to spawn a TV show, comic books, a trading card game, and of course, a video game. So let's take a look.
By reversing the scream itself?
Now, the cartoons didn't fare too well. They planned on making a minimum of 6 episodes, but they only finished the second, which became the pilot, and eventually was sold as a movie on VHS called Monster in My Pocket: The Big Scream. The trading card game was also a pretty big flop. The only cards they ever had were the ones that came with their toys. Despite the cartoon show and the trading card game failing miserably, the comic books had a decent storyline, and each monster from the original 48 had his or her own character. Harvey Comics was responsible for the comics, and Konami took their story to make the great NES classic. In the Harvey Comics, the Warlock gets all the monsters together to meet in a place called Monster Mountain. Now, inside Monster Mountain, the Warlock uses his powers to shrink all the monsters down to pocket-sized versions of themselves. In the game, your job, as either the vampire or the monster, which is basically Frankenstein's monster, is to get back to Monster Mountain and take down the evil Warlock. In the game, you've only really got one attack, the punch. But your punch emits a bit of a shockwave, and this comes in extremely handy when you're getting attacked from all angles. Sadly, there's no difference between the two characters, but as simple as the game is, it's pure fun. Each level is entirely different from the last. There's everything from the refrigerator to the sewers. Each level also has its own perks. The construction level has a crane you ride, not to mention fences you can run on and climb. The living room has a staircase, and depending on your tastes, you can either take the stairs or rocket your way down the railing, smashing into any oncoming enemies. Not only are the levels unique, but each boss is a different monster taken from the toy collections. You've got Spring-Heeled Jack, Bigfoot, a Gremlin, the Hydra, and many, many more. Each boss has its own pattern and unique form of attack. Bigfoot actually reminds me of the first boss from Ninja Gaiden 2, to be honest. The most annoying out of these bosses is probably the Hydra, because unless you've got all day, the best way to beat him is just stand above him mashing the attack button while he drains the shit out of your health. So the game's basically 6.5 levels long. I say half because the final level is kind of a secret, but I don't really want to say too much about it because it'll ruin the end of the game. If you like what you see, definitely give this game a try. I kind of compare it to Castlevania with, like, short-range attacks, I guess. If you don't even remember these toys existing, you're not alone, because I owned half of these toys, and I didn't even know it, until I did some research and found out that they look almost identical to the Ultimate Muscle toys, which I also, for some reason, had. So, this is Dukey signing off, And this is my final review of Monster in My Pocket by Konami.